If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
So what I'm going to talk about in this video is how to configure a simple Node-RED flow. This is actually the flow that's included in the default IoT controller installation virtual machine. And what I'm going to do is I've just opened up my web browser and I'm going to type in the IP address of the IoT controller. And I've just gotten to the login page for my IoT controller, so I am going to just log into it. This is the main dashboard for the IoT controller. You can see I've got one access point online. I've previously onboarded that to RUCKUS Cloud. That's what I'm using. You could also use Virtual Smart Zone, but I'm using RUCKUS Cloud. So if I go to the IoT APs tab, you can see there's my access point. It's an R510. Right now I don't have any IoT devices onboarded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the IoT AP screen and I'm going to start the access point into scan mode here, and I've got a Samsung door sensor which I am going to onboard onto the IoT controller. So right now it's scanning and it looks like it found it, and I'm going to name it BD Door 01 for these test purposes. So I'm going to accept that and stop scanning. And now if I go to IoT devices, you can see that it is now onboarded. So I've got one device, a door contact sensor by Samsung. I've named it BD Door 01. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a very basic Node-RED flow that's actually included into the install of the IoT controller virtual machine. So I'm going to go over to rules, and under configuration I'm going to change a few things for my particular setup. So the first thing is I'm going to open up the settings node, and there's a couple things we need to update. One is the IoT controller server IP address, which is right here, and that's 192.168.88.102. The next one is the IP address of the Node-RED server, and it's the same IP address because we are now running Node-RED on the IoT controller itself. So I'm going to do that. Done. Next thing we need to do is open up the system values node, and I've got an entry right now for BD Door 01 already set in this node. However, it's the wrong manufacturer, so it's very important to make sure that this node has the correct names and manufacturers for the devices that you onboarded. So as I said, the door sensor is a Samsung, so I'm going to change that to Samsung. So I've got BD Door 01 and it's a Samsung. Samsung is the manufacturer. And then the last thing we need to do really is the authorization for the IT controller. Just enter in the username and password for the IoT controller that you set up. Okay, then I'm going to deploy that. And then what I'm going to do is just go to the dashboard now. And you can see that that device is now being recognized by our simple Node-RED flow as BD Door 001, and it's been onboarded. There's some details about the sensor, the MAC address. It's a Zigbee device, and things like the RSSI and LQI and the time it was last seen. So that's just an example of taking really a raw IoT controller install, onboarding a simple door contact sensor, and you can see it's onboarded.